So, I just got one question for you. Why? Why? Why?
Why? Why?
Why? The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Why?
Why, Trevor? Why?
Why indeed? I hope you know the answer, because you're going to be asked that a whole lot.
The Y phase. You've entered that, eh?
My
Wow.
3-year-old is in the Y phase, and it's just, I'm trying my best to give him answers, because it seems kind of like a thirst for knowledge thing. So,
Yeah. They're little sponges. They want to soak up all this info.
but the one of us that really gets to me is where it's like, don't touch that. Why? Like,
Yeah.
because you'll die. Okay, like it's just like this is like,
Yeah.
it's like eat your supper. Why? Because you'll starve and they'll put me in jail. So eat, please. Like,
Yeah.
I think the whys to requests are certainly the most aggravating. Like, are you in the Y phase? Are you through the Y phase?
You know what, Trevor? It doesn't end. My 8-year-old is still in the Y phase, but it's more like of a complex sentence. But it's still asking, why do things happen, and why are they the way they are?
So is Google your buddy? Where you jump over and like, let's find that real quickly.
It's funny when you're in the real world, you have a job and you have a meeting and somebody suggests something that you don't quite know. And you're like, okay, hold on. Let me take this information back. I'll get back to you. I'll just go do a little Google and come back with the right answer. So it's kind of like off-putting as much as you know. You'd be like, all right, well, let's go find out why that is.
I was wondering if I could almost turn it on its head where it's like you use that when they surpass the threshold where they can safely use a computer. If you start to imbue them with that research ability, it's like, why is this? Well, I don't know. Let's research it
Let's
together.
look it.
You know, so you teach them that, like, when you don't know something,
Right.
go find it. Like, don't just throw out your ignorance and like let it sit there. Like,
No,
fine.
yeah, and I think the most frustrating part of the Y phase, and you've probably experienced it, is the double Y. So you explain it, and then Y on top of that, like a layered Y, and I don't quite understand that, or it's
Is
hard
that-
to approach.
Yeah, it really starts getting very weird very quickly. Like, there's a whole comedy skit about that. Well, things that are can't aren't, and things.
You start entering this crisis. You're like, well, wait a minute. What's my existence about? Why are we here?
Yeah, so I love it. Oh, but I don't know. It's fun as far as phases go. That's great.
Yeah.
Now the current sleeping nightmare we're going through is not fun in the slightest. Where it's the little guy is waking up 3 or 4 times towards the end of the night. So he'll go down at like 7 and he gets through till 2 to 4, which is a blessing. There's that block of time.
Yeah.
But then at that point, it's almost like every hour, every 2 hours sometimes, where he's waking up, and it's just like, that's harsh, man. That's really messing us up. And the other one is just letting himself out of his room, the older one, and like marching into our room all the time. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I feel like
You can't
locking my
win.
room, your room.
After this, you need to write a book, like just how to calm down through the non-bedtime routine.
Yeah, well, as soon as I figure that out, I'll let you know. But at the moment, we're just like pulling our hair out. If I had any left, it's just, sleep is just so precious, man. I'm telling you, it has been a theme. I have said this on the show so many times.
Yes, you have. It's true.
But I'm telling you, it's just, I can't describe how much it gets to me. It's like, sleep is the one thing I want.
Yeah.
And you won't take it.
Well, it's the worst when it's like, it kind of gives you that, good 4 or 5 hours, and then, nope, I'm up, and you're up too.
Vis-a-vis, you are up. But all pretty good there. And I'll say I had a interesting dad-kid gaming moment
Oh,
where I got to be the hero.
As per usual. How would you have it anyway else?
Yeah, but it was a mobile game.
Okay.
Fairly fast. It's stupidly simple. It's the type of thing I think any of us dads who like looked out the window and kind of imagined a ball or something kind of traversing the landscape as you watch, like something kind of carrying along. Like it seems so obvious. Anyways, but it's just you press your finger on, it represents kind of like a ball, and you have to bring it through a maze. So you're, dragging your finger left and right, and you have to keep it on the path, otherwise it loses. And my wife had this game on her phone. Kid was trying to play it. Wife was trying to play it. They were terrible at it. And frankly, I was a rock star. I did really good. I did really good. My wife was impressed, but more importantly, kids like, Daddy, you're doing it. You're good, Daddy. You're so good. I'm like, yeah,
I am.
Gaming.
That's right.
All that
Paid dead hero.
It paid off. All this gaming practice. I did it. But game after and all he wanted to do was to watch me play and win this thing. So there, and fortunately, like it's kind of entertaining, but it's just like, man, this is the dream. I look like a hero. I'm playing a game. He's entertained. Everybody's winning. Everybody here is winning.
Yep.
Especially me.
Dream. It's perfect.
So that was like, for one of the first gaming dad wins for myself.
Nice.
I'll say that I was pretty stoked about that. Now,
hold on to it.
Cherish it. Write that down.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, yourself, has there been any gaming dad moments between yourself and your kids?
Well, yeah, speaking of mobile, I introduced my oldest into Hearthstone, a little game that you once played in a blue moon ago.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a whole spiel about that, but I want to hear about your kid first. Your kid is into Hearthstone now?
Yeah, so it kind of came about as he's really into card games. And just regular card games, not Pokemon or anything, but we picked up this one card game that was more about battle points and strategy and destroying ships and stuff. I'm like, you know what? There's kind of a digital version of this that's kind of animated. Let's download Hearthstone and try it out. So he did. He liked it. It's got amazing animation to it, and he was figuring out the strategy and all that stuff.
Really?
So it was interesting to see. He loves math too, so he can teaches him the math and adding all the numbers up and subtracting before he plays a card and the multipliers and all that stuff. So it's good experience for him. It was a good experience for me because I played it a long time ago, but I didn't get into what you kind of got into. So it was a good experience, something for him to kind of play and have that immediate almost satisfaction instead of card games are great. There's a time and place, but I just wanted to see if he could, handle something like that that's a little more advanced.
What's great about it too is it's because it is all digital. There's no setup. Like there's always going to be other people you can play with. Yeah, I really wish there was an offline version. Yeah, where you just can maybe play an AI or pass between two people or something. That feels a bit. It kind of sucks. You have to play against another human.
Yeah, like we were. It was good with a tutorial because you were playing against AI. So I don't know why that isn't in the game. It really should be. Like they have missions. Too hard.
So they do have like single player kind of events. So it'd be you take one hero and you. Oh, I can't even remember the exact. It came with the Witchwood, which was the one of the previous expansions. But it's these single player modes where it's like a dungeon crawler in some ways, where you win, and then at the end of it, you get to choose a perk, and then some special cards. So you're kind of building your deck as you go along.
Okay.
And then the monsters get progressively harder. So it's interesting. The weird thing with it, though, is you have to be online. Again, you have to have a connection. Like you can't take that offline. Yeah, which is still. And that's like so he did it. So he got through. Was he playing human opponents, or did he stick with just the tutorial?
Not yet. He got through the tutorial, and then we kind of set it down for a bit and played another Blizzard game.
Oh,
to up the ante in that
Overwatch.
So for some strange reason, I just thought, hey, you know what? I have all these old licenses, like game keys that I haven't used, and one of them is StarCraft 2. And I downloaded that one, and it came with the original you can get for free, so I got the original and StarCraft 2 up and running, and he wanted to play it. So we learned about the Zerg Rush and the Protoss and the Terran and what the Terran actually means. It's little humans and what they're all fighting for. And even the intro sequence is good enough for my 8-year-old, I think, at this point. Not so much my 5-year-old, but he's like just mind blown from what the intro. Even my mind is blown from what I remember. I'm like, wow, this still looks amazing. They were just on top of their game with this one. So, yeah, it was a rocky start, but we just played through it on easy and just get the mechanics down. And I don't know, it was a interesting like next step where maybe he could take on a strategy game and think more in complicated patterns and what is kind of like going to offset the certain offense defense rush, and maybe we'll see if we can get into multiplayer or not. But right now it's just AI. I would love to do head to head with him.
Oh my goodness!
On another computer.
That'd be the dream.
Like the old LAN days.
Oh, those are like those ones too. Like between that, like Warcraft 2, StarCraft. Those games are just so fantastic. Did you connect to somebody back in those early days? I remember doing the dial-up, screaming at everybody in the house.
Yeah.
Don't touch the phone. I'm playing a game.
Yeah, I'm on battle.net or whatever it was called. And I had to go through all that song and dance to get it to work. But that was amazing. That was a great time. That's like my nostalgic time where you had to like remember like the IP addresses of people and put them in and connect. It was, I don't know, it just brought back all these memories, and to see him within that world again, something that I've played hours and hours and hours upon. Not StarCraft 2, but the original. It was a cool experience. So I'm happy.
Man, he could be on his being a StarCraft pro is still very viable, especially in Korea.
There we go. I'm just starting him right now. Got to get him going.
Man, like I said, that game is just, and there's just something about it. That game in particular, it seems like to have just lasted for so long. It's still been so viable. There's still such an active scene with StarCraft that it's, man, what a gem from our past, and of all nostalgic games. I'm still just like blown away by the thought of it. If you can play over LAN against him in StarCraft 2, that would be so cool.
That would be amazing. Like, my wife has a computer that could play the original, maybe not StarCraft 2, but if I can get that working on one game key, I don't know what this CD keys around that, how that works anymore. But if that could happen,
well, it can't cost that much. That's worth it. That's like, that's three Starbucks.
Just that's worth it. Exactly. It's my argument, Trevor. That's it.
Christmas
Bonding
is coming
time.
up.
Yeah.
It just feels like, it's funny too. There's something about that game where it feels like it's almost like it makes you smarter, in to the extent of something like Sudoku, where it's kind of recognized that like it's puzzle thinking, like it brings it feels like StarCraft, especially like those type of strategy games. It just gets your head to think about problems in a different way. I don't know that we can replace the school system yet, but
even trying to get back into the swing of things, it's a lot to handle. I'm like, whoa, this is a complex game that you have to get down.
High hand coordination.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember there's this one episode where they had a StarCraft pro do I think it was like a 3 or 4 on 1 match against guys who had never hardly ever played the game.
Yeah.
And he's walking through his routine, and one thing he's doing is he's pressing nothing keys specifically. And he's asking, like, what are you pressing there? Oh, this does nothing. It just gets my a click per minute rate up. Like he was like warming up his hands and his fingers so that like it'd be fast. Like that's how fast and effective like the pro scene is. See, I'd be curious if you showed your kid some of like a pro match.
Yeah.
What his take would be on it, to see these guys just be at a complete different level.
Well, even for myself, just to look at, how much coordination goes into it. And these guys like line up their keyboards and like mice at a certain distance of the computer, and they know all the hotkeys and stuff. And I'm still searching around for group 2. All right, group 2, you're good. Let's go.
Which one's the any key?
What does ESC do? What's ESC?
Oops, and I exited the browser. Shoot.
Yeah.
God, I pressed the Windows key. What have I done?
Yeah.
Just punt it out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let me rant about Hearthstone for a second.
All right. Yeah. Back.
Okay. So I've not played it now for a month, maybe a month and a bit.
Wow, that's
And I was daily for a while. I got into it and I was enjoying it, but it's just the current meta. There's one particular class called Druid, which I don't know if he played that one or like at least saw it.
No.
And it just got to such a stupid point. Like it was so unfun to play them, and there was a ton of them, right? So you can get up to levels like you get up to level 1, and then past that you get into legendary ranks.
Okay.
Like, actually, I took something all the way to level 12, the highest I'd ever been.
Wow.
Right, so I had a decent deck, and like I was like good at playing it and such. But you just started to see these stupid druids, and the problem was like I'm sure like it's just saltiness, and so be it.
Yeah.
But it's within 2 turns, they would give themselves 12 armor. Right, so 12 extra hit points, and they would play this card that would put out these 1/5 taunt minions. So taunt, you have to hit them.
You have to hit them.
And depending on how many you have. So you could be up to 4 or even 5 of these taunt minions. So all of a sudden, within 2 turns, this person has put together something where you need to output like 37 extra damage to beat them on top of the extra 30.
Right.
And that's not fun. And the thing is, and to think about it, what upset me, it's like, okay, that's a lousy barrier. But what sucked about it was like, you're not trying to win. You're just trying to not lose.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? That sounds a little bit silly, but I think like you kind of understand what I mean, where it's not, that's not a great strategy where like, here's my cards that I'm going to try to defeat you with. It's just like, you can't beat me. You're like, this is dumb.
Now I gotta survive. Yeah.
And then the game would last for like, if you decided to try to go toe to toe with them, now it's going to take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a game.
Whoa, yeah.
And just like, I don't like this. This is dumb. And the thing, and to their discredit, so you have hundreds of cards. You can put together any series of decks. The Druid decks right now, like all of them have 95% of the same cards.
Oh.
All of them. Every single one. Like they mostly, out of like 30 cards, they all play the same 20 to 25 cards. And it's just that it's so dull. It's just, I was finished. I'm like, this is not fun, and it's taking up too much time. So, and at the same time, Magic the Gathering had released Magic Arena.
Right, yep.
Totally free game, much like that. And it was just so new and fresh. Firstly, like
not a druid in sight.
Oh man. Well, I'm a Magic nerd because I played it during lunchtime during high school.
Okay.
The one I was deep nerd.
You were in there. You were right in.
And so like the mechanics and everything about it, like so much fun, so much nostalgia, much like you said with your StarCraft, right? Yeah, everything was just new. Like everybody had these weird, crazy decks. When you lost bad, and it was like exciting. Like, oh my god, that's crazy! Like how do you get like 4 like 10/10s? That's ridiculous. It was an absolute blast. So, and it just feels like a lot more interactive. Anything they do, you can kind of have a say in.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas Hearthstone, it just kind of, there's some points where you had to deal with things like felt a little less deep in that sense. Anyway, no shade about it. Lots of people love it. It just started to rub me the wrong way, and I have so little time. I'll say it too, like it kind of came down to my gaming dad backlog. Because I was looking at the time I was spending. I'm like, I literally have a written list of games I have to beat, and I can't be spending time on this. I don't have time.
You do have to prioritize. You need to prioritize.
Yeah, so anyways, that was a quick, well, not so quick rant about Hearthstone, but
we'll meet you on the other side.
That's it. I'm sure like I'll come around and like I'm like, okay, I can give it a shot. I'll queue up against your son, and he's gonna just like mop the floor with me.
He needs to practice. Let's go. Let's do it.
He doesn't have to practice that much. I am just not that good. But that really shows that you're quite the great gaming father. And on this show, we like to herald great gaming fathers, and we do so in a little segment called Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. Each week we feature an exceptional gaming dad, and often their kids who are doing fatherhood and gaming so well. This week's victory comes from gaming dad Connor Rowe, who posted his exuberance for his 3.5-year-old starting her gaming journey. Jeff, why don't you walk us through the photo?
So much like the intro, we have a little girl playing Journey, which is a fantastic PlayStation game on a she looks like she's really into it on something that's a pretty big TV screen that probably shows off the beauty of Journey, because I remember that game is such a serene, peaceful, wander about kind of experience, and you're trying to figure out puzzles and have like a co-op experience that's not really co-op. So it's actually a perfect new dad gaming game to start out with your kids, even if it's just for control, getting used to the controller at 3.5. That's hard to do in a dual shock. So it looks like she's having a great time, and yeah, that's kudos to that. That's great.
That's such a perfect one. And the moment he's captured, so she sits to the left side on the couch, the TV is like lighting up her face, her little hands are just grasping the DualShock controller, and you can tell there's this intensity and this focus that she has. Yeah, she's got this cute pink shirt, some sparkly shoes. Journey is lighting up the entire right of it, and it's just, she's in that world. And as Jeff mentioned, like, it is such a beautiful world to be lost into. Yeah, like, what a great example of gaming, frankly. It's just like, this is the type of experience that you can have in this realm of gaming. It's a story, there's depth, there's beauty, but like, it's interactive and you're part of it. Like, and to show that intensity she has with it, and the grasping of that controller, I just can't get over that. That's so beautiful. Yeah, I can't believe I don't remember this game when we're recommending some start out games, because it is a perfect one. It kind of just goes into the game. There's no text. I don't even think there's text in it, so you don't even have to read. You just kind of read the expressions of these little creatures going through the world. So yeah, perfect game. Yeah, so expect it on some Gaming Dead lists in the future. That's right. An absolute recommendation for any gaming dang out there. So remember, getting your child to undertake their gaming journey takes but one small step. Whoa, there's the new dad joke. If you have a story that you'd like to feature for Gaming Dad Victory of the Week, send it along to us on our Facebook group or on our website at newdadgaming.com. And new dads, listen up as we go over this week's highlights and what happened in the world of gaming. This Halloween, the dads can participate in their own trick-or-treating with the Spooktacular Steam Halloween-themed sale happening October 29th to November 1st. Some top creepy picks from us here at New Dad Ghouling range from Left 4 Dead 2, We the Happy Few, or if you're brave enough, maybe there's Outlast 2 and Soma in the mix. If you are opposite and just want a chill game that's less terrifying, there's Rocket League, Stellaris, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider are also offered up in this sale. But what's also frightening is the server refresh rates in the recent release of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. That's right, fans have called upon the developer Treyarch to fix the refresh rates after the beta offered a 60 Hz rate on their servers, whereas the launch has been downgraded to 20 Hz. If you are totally confused, the refresh rate is the rate at which the game data is updated. So in this case, 20 Hz server with a game running at 60 frames a second would only get updated once every 3 frames. Which is the difference between life and death in this type of Twitch shooter. Because of the community backlash, Treyarch has officially announced that it is looking into the issue and hopes to fix it ASAP. And speaking of fixing games, you can plunge into the depths of No Man's Sky and explore the terrors of the Abyss in its next free update entitled The Abyss. That's right, another huge update from Hello Games expands No Man's Sky into the sea with a new submarine-like vehicle, improved underwater building, flora and fauna, exploration and discoveries including shipwrecks and other loot. Also added are terrifying sea creatures that roam these new biomes. Much like Subnautica, if you have a fear of water, better stick to the skies. The new update is available today for all platforms. And another update was also announced for the inbound PlayStation Classic, a mini-inspired version of Sony's retro console. The official game list was detailed in a new video where such classics like Twisted Metal, Metal Gear Solid, the original top-down Grand Theft Auto, and Destruction Derby are featured among the 20 games for the console. Now, what's kind of shocking are the games that are missing from the era.
kind of like Wipeout, Silent Hill, Gran Turismo, or any of the Tony Hawk's, Spyros, or Ape Escapes. The list goes on. Maybe Sony has too many to choose from, or maybe it's because of a number of remasters are currently underway and they can't ruin those sales, or maybe it's a bigger conversation with licensing, and a lot of those are missing their own dedicated soundtracks, and licensing would probably be an issue in modern times. Whatever the case, the PlayStation Classic will launch December 3rd in time for the holidays. And the most horrifying update of all, 383 people were performing Fortnite emotes to set a Guinness Book of World Records at the Paris Games Week. The fans were all decked out in the Cuddle Team Leader wear, emoting such great hits like fresh and hype moves. Has Fortnite jumped the shark, or has this dad gotten out of touch with what Fortnite has become in the gaming industry? No, it's the children who are wrong. Or it's the dads. I mean, we did have the Macarena. As for gaming releases this week, some highlights include Diablo 3 comes to the Switch, Sega Ages Phantasy Star for the Switch again, Football Manager 2019 for the PC, Call of Cthulhu for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and Xbox also announced November's games with gold, which include Battlefield 1, Race the Sun, the original Assassin's Creed, and Dante's Inferno. That's all for the ghouling gaming news for this week. Catch a nap and tune in next week for another update.
Really enjoyed those Halloween puns. Delicious. Now, so I was equal parts excited and absolutely pissed off at the No Man's Sky: The Abyss announcement. That is the one. That is the game I'm currently trying to get through.
Yeah,
for
I
my
was thinking
backlog.
of you in your bucket list.
And I've been making some progress. Things are going okay. I've resisted the temptation to just jump to PC and cheat. And it's like, but then they announced it, and it's like, that's amazing. Look at all the content. They're supporting it. This is great. Damn it, I have to do so much more content that I have to go through.
Yeah, now you have so much more game to experience and do.
They said there was a story element to it. I'm hoping that's not kind of part of the main arc. It's just
It's probably a side quest. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if I can still just power through and blast through the first one.
This is you, though. You're not powering through this. You're going to...
I don't have time, man. I got to change my game style. I got so many things to get through. But, oh, man, that's like... What a great update. This company, I'm telling you this. So it's submarines. It's like entire underwater biomes. Like there's some of the screenshots of the monsters looked terrifying.
Yeah, again, it's if you play Subnautica, it's basically that game in this, which is nuts. I mean, they might have fizzled on launch, but post-launch has been absolutely fantastic support. It's kind of like the Drive Club problem when they launched and it kind of fizzled, and then afterwards it was just new content almost every few months.
Yeah, so. New content, rave reviews, like it's good, man. I absolutely love it. Like a fan from day one, and to see them go through this
dedicated supporter right here. That's what you were.
Right. No, but just to see any company survive and thrive like that, to turn the story around and to be such a positive one, like love it. Absolutely love it. And it's more No Man's to play. Although it's also no Man's to play. Now, I was curious, I think I've asked this last week, so it's almost going to be like a weekly checkpoint.
Okay.
Do you have any desire to play Call of Duty, the new one?
No, I don't.
None? Like, you don't see those game replay videos and, like, looks like fun? Really? None?
I don't know. I used to play, I think, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty 4. Actually, the original Call of Duty, if we were talking Call of Duties, like storming the beaches of Normandy. I remember loving them all. Maybe I'm out of Twitch shooters. I don't know. It just doesn't seem appealing to me. But you're all for it, eh? You dive in?
No, if someone gave me a copy, I think I'd have fun. I wouldn't spend money on it, if it sounds weird. I can understand. I will admit there's some pull towards it.
Yeah.
There's something about, the hot game. It's seeing a Call of Duty, which has always been a huge franchise, and to see it successfully have freshened things up where people are really excited about it. All that's interesting to me. And as like a lover of games, it's kind of like, all right, you've kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
But,
okay. I can understand that. Again, like I would probably be more interested in the single player aspect of it, like a campaign,
Doesn't exist.
which this doesn't have. So I'd be wary about jumping into multiplayer and getting killed multiple times. But no, to each his own. You just have to practice.
Practice, nice. We swiftly move on. So we talked about Call of Duty, which, of course, originally launched on the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
And I don't see it on the PS Mini, along with a lot of other games that do not seem to be there.
There's a lot missing there, man. I don't know.
I was surprised to see some. So I was surprised to see Metal Gear Solid. That was surprising.
Yes, that is surprising.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
I was surprised. I did not think for a second I'd make it on there, especially since they're theoretically making a remake.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think Final Fantasy's thing is just whatever console it can go on or whatever platform, they're going to do it. So
There was Destruction Derby. That was a game that everyone just seemed to have for PlayStation.
Yep. I love that game.
I don't know. I kind of I enjoyed it, but it just seemed terrible. The actual destruction part, the mechanics of it is if you hit anybody with the front of your car, your engine would blow up.
Bust. Yeah, you got to back into them. It's like a real destruction derby. Yeah, you just reverse right in.
So I remember every single time, everybody goes charging toward forward, and you just do this 3-point turn, so you can start going reverse. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think that's a good memory type of thing again, where it's just you can actually see it crumpled for the first time, and it's
yeah.
There's so many theoretically so many vehicles. Wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know. In the age of classic minis, this one's not pulling me, and I'm a pretty big PlayStation fan, but this one is. I'm not interested.
Yeah, no Wipeout. That's super bizarre.
Wipeout, no Tony Hawk, which again, that's probably a music licensing issue. But replace the soundtrack or have no soundtrack and say use songs or something to.
I know people would be upset, but just okay, fine. Just make some music. License some music, some non pop music from non-artists. People would, of course, the soundtrack was such a big part of it.
It was.
Sure,
I can play it right now in my head. So.
But if you could play the game on this new console and just not have the music, it would still be enjoyable, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. So it's not pulled, man. I think if anything, the SNES did a better job of getting some of the true.
I think so.
Nostalgia classics, and this is kind of it's a sparse list. I don't think. I'm kind of curious if they're gonna have a way to be able to update it so they can patch them in later for a price, like a download pack.
But even still, then you're paying $100.
Yeah.
Plus the DLC that's not going to be free, and they're missing things like Crash Bandicoot and some bunch of others that RPGs. Where are your RPGs at? You got Final Fantasy VII, but. There's Legend of Dragoon. There's Final Fantasy Tactics. There's Xenogears.
Dragoon.
There's Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross. I remember that one.
Xenogears. Yeah, I remember that too. That game just never seemed to end.
No, it didn't.
It had 6 main bosses. It had 6 main end bosses. Okay, it's now you're done, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Just keep going. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing too, where it's just the. SNES, NES, there's something to that sprite style that's timeless.
Yes, I agree.
Right, it's beautiful still. Right, there's something about that limitation that they had that made it so great. The first 3D games,
no, they're horrible.
They really don't look good. It was certainly interesting compared to flat sprite stuff, but doesn't look good, man. It doesn't age well.
At the time, you thought this was real. I remember thinking Gran Turismo. This is amazing. These look like cars. This looks like a racetrack. But again, like you said, the pixel art kind of has its own timeless feel to it, whereas most indie studios now are doing the pixel art. They're not doing the old 3D models that are kind of jagged and don't look right. Bushido Blade. Why didn't they put Bushido Blade on there? There's another one.
See, that would have been a system seller.
Come
Bushido
on.
Blade would have possibly been worth it.
Tenchu. I remember Tenchu. I love Tenchu. Give me a
It was
ninja game.
Was it Oni?
Oni.
Oni was a classic
Maybe
one.
that was PlayStation 2.
Was that 2? That might have been 2.
It might have been 2. But still, there's a couple out there.
I think Resident Evil made it on. I think I saw some tank. I don't know. It's just extreme. Did you ever play the Extreme games?
No.
You could be no. Well, you could be on a bike. You could be on a street luge. You could be on rollerblades. Do you ever play those ones?
No, I don't think so. I played some snowboarding games, but I don't think that comes under what you're thinking of.
No. I played those games to death. Like I love those games. It's just like it's all like a downhill race, and you had to do tricks and jump through hoops and stuff.
Huh.
And it kind of looked a little bit like Mortal Kombat, where as opposed to 3D,
Like live.
Yeah, as opposed to like 3D, I think they just took like a bunch of photos. I don't know. That game, those games sunk their teeth into me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was like too extreme.
bet. Would you buy a system for it right now? I don't. Yeah,
it would look terrible. I think I'd have a hard time playing it, honestly. Oh, but and just lastly, if I told you to do the fresh dance from Fortnite, okay, come on, dude, just do a little fresh dance. Do the hype. Do the hype dance. At least do the hype dance.
Speaking, from a dad experience here, and Halloween is tomorrow. Maybe when this podcast comes out, it won't be tomorrow. It'll be yesterday. But I will say I'm prepared to see a bunch of Fortnite emote dancing and costumes that are Fortnite related. I guarantee you there'll be at least a few.
And will you give those kids candy, or you refuse?
Maybe I'll make it a drinking game, and I'll take a shot each time I see one out.
You know what you do? You buy every time they come up, it's like, oh, Fortnite, eh? Here, let's put this in your bag. This is a copy of StarCraft 2. Okay. I want you to go home and install this, and you can understand.
You don't need that junk. Here's a real game. Here's
just handing out DVDs of games. The best part is there's a chance
idea. There is a Steam sale. I could just buy a whole bunch of them and just print off the coupon codes. Here you go.
I'm not sure their computers would have a DVD drive. You might need to give it USB.
You're probably right.
Just give it USBs, buddy. With that phenomenal idea, we'll wrap it up for the week. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on our website at newdadgaming.com. You can also find us on our Facebook group. We'd love you to come to either with show ideas, question, notes, submissions for Gaming Dad Victory of the Week, anything. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and any of the other podcasting services. If you like the show, we'd really appreciate a like, a review, or a share wherever you can, as we're trying to reach as many gaming dads as we can. Got to move those StarCraft 2 units.
Yeah, that's right.
Until next time, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, currently doing the fresh dance.
Why?
I don't know. Why?
Why? For the record, he was doing the fresh dance. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See ya.